Hello and welcome. It is 6 o'clock. It is Friday and it is the 6 o'clock club. I am indeed flying solo tonight. Hi, I'm Andy from Twisted Narrative, and it is indeed the end of the week. Where has all of that gone? It's been a very, very busy week for me. Very, very exciting. I've been experimenting and working. You can see this new layout that we've got now. Still tinkering with it, still not 100% sure, but it feels that every step that I'm taking is making things better, which I'm super excited about. So it is indeed Friday, and we're going to do a week in review. And on top of that, we will look at this weekend's games, both the videos that we're launching up to YouTube and the private games that I'll be hosting and running as well. If you are in chat, give us a wave, say hi. Thanks for joining in. It's always nice to know that we have company. Okay, so Monday the week began, and all we really had was the 6 o'clock club, which we run with Christian. That was great fun, and we were getting very excited for Tuesday night, because Tuesday night was going to be a live stream, an actual play from Charlie Menzies, who is the actual creator and writer of the role-playing game called Shiver. And that was very, very exciting. We can call that up here. And we did this on Tuesday night. It was great fun. There were four of us: Matt, Andy, Christian, and Adam. Charlie running it, and we were set in 1982 in America, and it was called Giggles Funhouse. An absolute blast. It was a joy to be part of that. And if you're interested, you can catch up on video on demand on our channel. There is a link in the comment section to try and make it easier for you. Let us know what you thought of it. It was very interesting to try out the Shiver system. It's always appealed to me because of its cinematic style. And hopefully Charlie and Adam will be back, whether someone else is running and Charlie gets to play, or Charlie continues with his magnificent directing, as they call it from game mastering. Had a very, very fun time with that. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday, unfortunately, the game that was designed to be on couldn't run because of commitments. Some people couldn't make it. That was going to be Fortunes Untold, a private game that I run, and that has got James and Felicity, Adrian and Roz in. So I missed that, but instead of not doing anything, I have become obsessed with a system that is being kickstarted at the moment called Shadow Dark. And I did a live stream instead at 7 o'clock, kind of going through in depth the player kickstart rules. These were very, very well written. This video's up on YouTube as well. Again, link in the comments. But we went through it with not a fine-tooth comb, not analysing it, but we read it from start to finish. And it is the player's guide, so it's got character generation in, but it's also got kind of the core rules in there as well. So it was a very interesting read, and the more I read, the more I fell in love with it. and that was very, very good. Um, I instantly decided to do a video on the other quick start guide, which was the GM's guide, and that video is debuting tonight. Um, so I didn't do this live; I pre-recorded it, but that video's going out tonight at 7 o'clock. You can see it again, a link in the channel. Keep an eye out for it. Slightly shorter, but it's got so many good tips for running a table and sort of attitude at the table for how the players should work together, should react for maximum fun. And it very much resonated with me. Everybody's table's different. You might not think the same way as I do, but I am very, very convinced by this game. It's also done a massive amount on Kickstarter, over £750,000 at the moment, and there's about 12 days to go. It was only looking for about £8,500, so beyond their wildest expectations. They're very good with community as well. You can go to their Discord server and speak with people. It's a very active server as well, as you would imagine. There's over sort of 8,000 players that have pledged for the Kickstarter, so a massive amount for initial launch. So I was just very keen to do the GM's guide sort of immediately, which, as I say, goes on video tonight at 7 o'clock. Then we move to Thursday. Thursday was a great day as well, due to the fact that it was the 3-year anniversary of a private game I run called Icebreakers, a game set in the world of Critical Role. And the players asked whether they could join me on the 6 o'clock club. So we had some of the players talking about their characters, talking about their favourite moments, and that was a magnificent 6 o'clock club. And then we ran the game afterwards at 7 o'clock, and that was great fun. There was some very, very nice role play moments. The kind of thing that I really like. I kind of like epic battles and fights, but when two characters click and there's role playing going on, it's where for me the magic is. Very much enjoyed that, and we had a full party, 7 players. We had James and Joe and Jack, and then we also had Em and Michael and Sarah. Great fun, and I hope all of you enjoyed it too. And I mean, that is more or less the week. Today, I've been very busy creating more scenes like this. It's surprisingly takes a lot of time to sort of get right and tweak. But I've pre-recorded another Shadow Dark video, this one much shorter today, and that goes live on Saturday night at 7 o'clock. And that is fundamentally no more than 10 minutes long, and it's basically why I think you should play Shadow Dark. So that goes live tomorrow. If you want not an in-depth look, but my gut feeling, my feelings about it, that is perfect. Hiya, Michael. Thank you very much. It's good to see that the technology is working as well, because on the stream your chat in the chat box has happened. Michael says, a late home. Hi, Andy. A big shout out to you as well. And it's good timing because Michael is also in tonight's game as well. So without further ado, we're moving from what we've done this week to moving to what we're doing over the weekend. And it's a very busy weekend again. It's been a busy week all around with various things. Tuesday was the Ides of March, um, and today, St. Patrick's Day. In the UK, on Sunday, it's Mother's Day. So there's a ton of stuff going on outside of standard role playing. But the weekend is my busiest time. I tend to run a lot of private games. A little quieter this weekend because of everything that's going on, but still packed, still very packed. Tonight we will be descending once again into not critical role, into collateral damage territory. We've entitled this sort of half jokingly "Welcome to the Jungle" because they are in Faerun at the moment, the realm of the Forgotten Realms, and they are headed down to Kulton, about to just go from Port Nyrazaru into the interior of the jungle, which is going to be great fun. I love a savage world. Um, Ever since the early days of the X-Men and the Savage World was revealed, um, it's had a special place for me. So I'm very excited to see what collateral damage will do. And we've got obviously the usual players. It is a weekly game. We've got Ben and Charlotte, Michael, Ryan, Stuart, Richard, and V in that game. Can't say much more about it because who knows what is going to happen. We'll do an update for everybody on Monday, the next 6 o'clock club after this. Then we go to Saturday, and Saturday is a very packed day. 4 games, 12 solid hours of role playing for me, plus prep time. Saturday is a very, very busy day, but some fantastic games going on, all of which are campaigns. 2 of which are coming, well, they are in the end game now and getting very close to potentially finishing. The first is Curse of Strahd. Very excited for this, obviously, to be able to bring it to the full close. The characters have entered Castle Ravenloft for quite possibly the first and the last time. They tried to confront Strahd, and Strahd is now using his castle to play cat and mouse with them. If they do things right, it might only be 1 session long. If they explore and do multiple things as players can do, it could be a large number of sessions, one way or the other. Don't want to really give any spoilers out if anybody hasn't played it and are planning to. I know it's an old campaign, but it's a classic. But very excited to be getting to this point in Curse of Strahd. Then we go to Tomb of Annihilation, and that is another classic dungeon. The tomb itself is actually in Cult, where the collateral damage crowd are headed at the moment. I'm not running Tomb of Annihilation for it. I kind of deliberately dropped some lore in last session that the occurrence of what happens in Tomb of Annihilation in the world they're in their timeline, as it were, has already happened. Obviously, locations are still there, but the Soulmonger was dealt with. But in Tomb of Annihilation, they have that problem. They are getting very close to having to deal with that and possibly a Serac. Again, no real spoilers. It's been a long journey. This has been a long campaign, and much of the fun of it has been travelling from Port Nyrazaru, going through the hexes and exploring the jungle, finally uncovering the ruins of Omnu. So very much looking forward to that too. Then we go to our other critical role game, which is called The Diplomates. Again, sorry, I should tell you who is in that game, the Tomb of Annihilation game. We've got Gordon, Casper, Marcus, and Dave. Big shout out to all of you in that game for getting as far as you've got, because it is quite a tough one. It doesn't really hold back any blows. And then Diplomates, we've got Doug and Malk, Charlotte, Ben and Nathan in that. And like all the Critical Role, all the games set in the Critical Role world setting, it seems to attract people that really like their role play. Um, and it's got a very nice feel to it. There's some very interesting sort of lore going on at the moment, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go. Can't really give any spoilers out, but um, as always with all of these games, I'm just always super excited. Then we come to Call of Cthulhu on Saturday night. We've got George, Ian, and James in that. Um, very excited with this one as well. They are kind of right at the start, but they have uncovered a lot of information, sort of parts of a puzzle, really, that they are going to begin to sort of act upon now, hopefully. No spoilers again, but this is a long campaign, one of the classics, um, and they've got a long way to go. They played the prologue, which was great fun. So I'm really looking forward to a little bit of a classic Call of Cthulhu as well. I just realised I didn't really do a shout out to people in Cursor Strad because I was getting very excited about the end game. That is, of course, Ryan, Ian, Pete, Josh, and Matt. So big shout out to you for getting as far as you've got as well. Then on Sunday, Sunday is Mother's Day, and it's kind of light on games somewhat. So we've only got the one private game sort of listed at the moment, and that is our Eberron game, which we talk about. It is a weekly game. We've got Christian, Jen, Tony, Jocelyn, Rachel, and Becca. Although I believe Rachel and Becca can't make it this time, but the game's still on. And they too are coming to kind of almost the end of a story arc, as it were. Time's sort of moving on, and they are going to very much need to get their plans in place. They've done tremendous amount of effort and work in doing this, so it kind of feels a bit like a roller coaster sort of going up at the moment. They're getting ever closer to that top where everything is just going to go crazy. And have they done enough to ensure both their survival and their success? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. As well as all of that, I've pre-recorded Game Over this week, so that will launch on Sunday night. Doing Baldur's Gate 3. I did do it live last Sunday, but we didn't get a huge amount of people into chat, so I figured people have watched the video since. But with it being Mother's Day as well, I figured audience might be light, so we have pre-recorded it. We're still doing it, and we are playing a warlock now. In the previous video that we did, we escaped down to the Forgotten Realms, but then we had a total party wipe. I misjudged how potentially tough this can be if you take the wrong turn, and I took a wrong turn, dropping down a hole I shouldn't have done, and it all went very bad, very rapid. So Game Over basically starts. I've I played through the introductory sort of part of the game again, so we didn't have to watch that. You can always watch it on the previous episode. But I decided to make a different character as well, and I'm playing a warlock, so that is good fun. Hey there, Kyle. Thank you for jumping into chat, and good evening to you as well. Um, Again, the chat is working now, so anything memes. But as I said, I'm a little bit obsessed with Shadow Dark at the moment. Um, so I'm going to be doing a number of videos that are sort of focused on that game. Um, if you aren't familiar with Shadow Dark, it is basically, if we call this up again, as it says there, it's old school gaming with new school mechanics, and they very cleverly have blended the two together. Um, and I'm going to run a couple of sessions or a number of sessions set in the smoke of the Shadow Dark. So it's going to be a variant smoke, just like we did with the Call of Cthulhu game. And we're going to do some actual plays there, which we'll record and put out on video. And we will also be doing a lot of game mechanics for it. So homebrew ideas, everything that we used to do for 5th edition, we'll be doing to support this game now, as well as looking at 5th edition and all of these other games. So we're looking at perhaps doing an actual play next Wednesday night, and then maybe a part 2 in a fortnight's time after that. But in the meantime, I'm going to be doing a sort of workshop of sorts where I'll be talking about how I'm blending the rules and the system of Shadow Dark into the setting of the smoke. And I might do one of those on Sunday. Probably a pre-record, but it'll be uploaded for people to watch that day. I'm very enthused by it all at the moment and very excited. If people have had a chance to download the rules from their quick starter, I'm always very, very interested to know what people sort of think. Whether I'm barking up the wrong tree or just barking mad, or whether you think the same way as I think. Very much I believe that the rules sometimes can be a hindrance rather than a help. And what I mean by that is, if you have an extensive rule set and system, not only tells you what you can do, there is a psychological block of, oh, I can't do that then, because the rules are telling you what you can do. And I don't think this is a case in any role-play game. And even the big role-play games like 5th edition, they basically say this: use it how you want to use it. But obviously, with published content, players and GMs read it, they absorb it, and it kind of becomes, well, we'll use these rules then. Whereas if you have a system with incredibly light rules, it means that there is that massive space to be able to adapt and be creative and come up with sort of very cool ideas. And it's one of the things that really has grasped me, and I've mentioned it a couple of times before. That I used to get this when I was much younger, back in the sort of very late 70s, early 80s, that really, really excited about a game. And I've not felt that in forever. I've enjoyed gaming. I've seen books and gone, this is beautiful, this is really nice, but I've never really felt that buzz and desire to get to the table to play it. Kyle says, I wonder about how powerful the spellcasting would be if you fail a check early in the day. or keep passing the check for high level spells. Uh, it's the way that it works. I've got great faith in the designer. They have play tested this for a long time. But the great thing is that they are open. Well, it's for your table. So if you find that the spell casting doesn't really work particularly well, you can lower the modifiers. Um, you can perhaps maybe give advantage to certain spellcasters. There's a lot you can play around with, which is why I like this system. Uh, it's not that it hasn't been finished; it just gives you opportunity at your table to do things how you want it to happen. Um, I mean, obviously, Kyle, it depends on the nature of the game that you're playing in. If the game is high fantasy, yeah, you want spellcasting to pass most of the time. So maybe advantage, or maybe giving out a lot of luck tokens. There is sort of fortune tokens in this game that I covered, and it suggests for a pulpy game that during a session you could be handing out anywhere between 3 and 5 to each player. That would translate to having GM's inspiration 3 or 5 times during a game. So whilst the game can appear to be brutal, if you're getting these re-rolls, as it were, it's not so bad because you can pick and choose. But in a grim and gritty game, maybe you only get one luck token, you know. So it's all to be played for, and it's all doable. I mean, that's the great thing. It's like you sit down with your table, have a sensible and mature discussion with your players in a session zero of how do you want this game to be? Do you want it to be high fantasy? Do you want it to be grim and gritty, or somewhere in the middle? And what mechanics shall we use? Um, which is fantastic. It doesn't feel like, oh well, the kind of rules as written, because you hear that a lot. Rules as written, it it should go like this, and it always feels bad to go, well, okay then, perhaps because it's rules as written, we should keep it that way. Yeah, because you put a lot of faith in game designers to get it right. And the thing is that they get it right, but they don't necessarily get it right for individual tables. Um, I mean, that's my thoughts on it, really, in the fact that it's incredibly open and flexible to be used for maximum amount of fun at everybody's table, basically. And it might have a completely different feel at different tables, but it still will be fun at that table and this table and whatever. So I would very much recommend downloading the quick start rules. They're free to do from the Kickstarter page. Taking a look at them, watch the videos. There's one, as I say, that covered the player's guide in depth. There's one that's going live in half an hour, which covers the gems guide, and then tomorrow night is a quick 10-minute overview of it all, of why I really liked the game. Um, so we are coming up to half past. We have covered everything. Next week we've got obviously the Shadow Dark actual play, a lot of private games going on as well. Tuesday we've got Vampire. Thursday we've got Call of the Netherdeep. Friday we've got Collateral Damage, and then Saturday and Sunday we've got a substantial amount, shall we say, going on. But on Thursday, I believe I'll be joined by an old acquaintance of mine by the name of Gary, and he's actually opening up a gaming arena, as it's called, in Nottingham. So Gary will hopefully be joining us to chat about that as well on Thursday, which hopefully will be of interest to obviously locals of Nottingham, but also people that might want to travel. Um, I'm not entirely certain his full plans for it, but a gaming arena sort of brings to mind that there should be tournaments going on. And Gary's a big miniatures fan, and also very good with old role playing and everything else. So that's going to be a very interesting discussion as well. Well, I shall love you all and leave you. Whatever you're doing this weekend, make sure you have a great time. Look after yourselves and everybody else, and stay safe. And yeah, hopefully, I shall see you either over the weekend in one of the private games or for the 6 o'clock club on Monday. As I say, take care, look after yourselves. Catch you all next time.